Some creators can genuinely sit down and create 30 pieces of content. Others here think, I barely have enough time to create three. And here's the thing, neither creator is doing batching wrong. The problem is that we have turned batching into one specific formula. So let's simplify. Now in this video, I'll show you three ways to batch your content and how to figure out which one actually works for you. The third one is very interesting, and then I'll give you additional tips for making your batching simple. So if you're seeing me for the first time, my name is Ozioma. You can also call me Simple Learning. I help busy creators simplify content creation. Now I've added timestamps in case you would like to skip to specific sections. Now let's get into it. First of all, let's take a look at what batch creating means. Simply put, batching just means grouping related content to work together instead of beginning from scratch every time you want to create. Now, that could mean grouping your content, it could also mean grouping similar tasks, or it could mean creating a large amount of content in one concentrated session. So remember, batching is a method, not a schedule. And once you look at it that way, you have more than one way to make it work. The first is deep batching. This is probably what most people picture when they hear the word batching or batch creating. You have the time, you have the energy, you have the setup, and your content is ready to go. So you sit down and create. Maybe that's about 10 pieces of content, maybe it's 20. Maybe you can generally sit down and create 30 pieces of content in one sitting. And if that works for you, do it. So you don't need to reduce your batching because someone else can't work that way. No. You can plan, script, film, edit, and even schedule your content in one concentrated block. The benefit is obvious. You get a lot of content out of the way at once and then create some breathing room for yourself. Here's where the complication starts. When you try to force a batching style that doesn't fit your time, your energy, your workflow, or if you have 3 hours available each week, but yet you want to try someone else's 6 hour Saturday marathon for content creation, that's a big problem because it's not going to make your life easier. And that's where another approach can work better. So maybe you don't have one huge uninterrupted block of time. You just have 30 minutes here, 1 hour there, 15 minutes there. Maybe your evenings are unpredictable. You can still batch. You might maybe on Monday plan and script. If you're not done with it on Monday, finish up Tuesday, and then Wednesday you can film, Thursday you edit, Friday you begin to package your videos, your content, to schedule it, package it, and publish, or schedule it down for publishing at the time you have set. Now, you are still batching the work. You're simply distributing the batch across your week around the periods that you have the time to create. And this is important. Doing your batching across several days doesn't make it less of a batch. The benefit is that you're still grouping similar tasks together that work together rather than constantly switching between planning, between scripting, between filming and editing for every single post. So you're reducing the amount of starting from scratch you have to do every time you're creating. And then here's the option that a lot of us overlook, but I think that we can benefit a lot from hybrid batching. Here you don't have to choose between I can create everything in one day and I can do one task every single day. No, you can combine the two. That's what makes it hybrid. So maybe you plan and script your content in smaller sessions throughout the week. Then you have one dedicated filming session where you shoot several pieces of content at once. Or maybe you film all your short videos together but work on your long videos separately. Or you plan everything together, but spread your editing across several days. The idea is simple here. Batch the parts that benefit from batching. You don't have to force your entire content workflow or process into one method. That's the essence of the hybrid batching. So you might be wondering, how do I know which batching style makes sense for me? Start with your actual life, not what you see another creator doing. So ask yourself, do I regularly have large uninterrupted blocks of time? If yes, then maybe deep batching might really work well for you. Or do I have smaller pockets of time throughout the week? Distributed batching might make more sense. Or do I have a mixture of both? Then hybrid batching might be your sweet spot. And here's one thing to consider, your energy, not your motivation, your actual capacity for the type of work you are doing. If you genuinely have the capacity to film 20 to 30 pieces of content in one sitting and your system works, great. But if doing that leaves you exhausted and makes you dread your next filming session, then maybe that isn't the most sustainable batching system for you. And that's the point because your batching system should work with you, not against you. Now, if you're realizing that your content process has become more complicated than it needs to be, this is exactly the kind of thing I help creators walk through in my content research sessions. So we look at what's actually slowing your process down and simplify it around the way you work. You'll find the content research session linked in the description. Now, these are 3 rules for keeping your batching simple. And whichever style you choose, just keep these 3 rules in mind. Okay, remember these 3 rules. Number one, batch what makes sense. Okay. Now, not everything needs to be batched. Some contents are spontaneous, some are time sensitive, and sometimes you simply just want to create something because the idea is fresh and hot. Okay, so there's no need to batch it. Number two, don't confuse volume with efficiency. That you created 30 pieces of content does not mean that it is more efficient than creating 5. The only thing that matters here is that batching this content make your content creation process easier. You have the answer. Number three, don't build a system that you would consistently, continuously have to manage. No, because imagine that you're spending more time organizing your batching system, moving things between apps, you know, updating complicated calendars, maintaining trackers than you're actually creating. Your system may have become the problem and you need to simplify it. Now, for me, planning is the part that I don't skip, right? I don't negotiate with that part because it gives everything else direction. Now, once I've planned, I follow my workflow and walk through each stage according to the time I've set aside for it and according to the time I have. I don't have to squeeze the entire process into one day for the system to work. No. Okay. And that's really what I want you to take away from this because structure doesn't mean doing everything at once. You can have a structured workflow and still build it around your life. You don't need to batch like another creator. You don't need to create 30 pieces of content at once. And you don't need to spread every single task across 7 days of the week either. You need a system that matches your time, your energy, and the way you actually create. Because the essence of batching is not to produce the most content possible. It's to make creation easier. It's to give you time for other aspects of your life. If this helped you rethink the way you batch your content, like this video and subscribe for more simple contents for busy creators. And if you want help simplifying your own workflow, check out my content research session in the description. Or if you're ready for a complete system to support your content creation, check out the Simple Learning Content Creation System. If you know another busy creator who is making batching more complicated than it needs to be, share this video with them. Don't forget to keep it simple and keep creating. I'll see you on my next one.